My name is Rick Benton. I'm the President and CEO of Centerline Trailers. This morning what we're going to do is go over a curtain side trailer, and I'm really going to kind of start back at the very early stages in the United States and the development of the curtain side throughout time. We aligned in 1982 with the English in the early stages design of a curtain sider. And we've evolved now to where we are right now in this picture. If you look at it, there's a lot of similarities between the curtain side trailer and the hard side trailer in that we have a front bulkhead assembly, we have a rear case assembly, and we have a roof that you're going to see probably on most van trailers. The really big difference between the hard side trailer and the curtain side trailer is the fact that we have the ability on a curtain side trailer to side access the load that's inside the trailer. So technically what you have is, instead of an aluminum or composite side that's on a hard side trailer, we have a curtain that actually moves from end to end, and we'll get into that. The fabric that we use, we bring in from either Belgium or Germany. It's a 2x2 polyester weave with a PVC coating on it. It gives us a lot of strength factor that we don't have from the regular matte materials that we get here in the United States. If we can kind of look at the curtain itself, the curtain itself actually, we'll weld webbing to the inside of it for additional strength from the roller assembly down to the buckle. I guess what we can do is I'll just get right into opening and closing the curtains, and as I do, I'm going to kick back a little bit as to the differences in the front bulkhead from a van trailer and rear case assembly. The front of the trailer on the curtain side, we actually have a tensioning device. Now this tensioning device is actually a worm gear. Let me go ahead and start opening. We actually, these buckle assemblies right here, they just flip over, and we'll just go right down the side. This tensioning device at the front is just technically a worm gear that we've designed through time. We have an aluminum pole that has a bolt in it that sets down on top of the castle nut. Again, this is just a simple worm gear. It's got a port on the back for your greases to go into it, and it pulls the tension horizontally. Now, what the Europeans actually did that helped us when we first aligned with them is the fact that they instructed us and showed us how we could vertically and horizontally tension a curtain, as opposed to the old China top designs that we had back in the 50s, 60s, etc., that just had a regular, like a 3/8 inch cable at the top, and the curtain just slid on it. So now that I've untensioned the curtain, what we do is we come back about 10 foot, we pull the curtain to us. Now what's happening here is that at the top, our top rail actually has a cavity in it, and in the cavity we actually have a roller, a UHMW roller, that runs from end to end of the whole trailer at the top. And there's rollers on each of these 24-inch verticals that actually are rolling in that track itself. So you can see, we'll take, I usually do it again about 10 foot at a time, pull the curtain to me. Buckles, you can have something to pull with. As you can see, they roll very easily in the rail. The rail itself, we don't recommend that you put any kind of grease or oils in it. Just a good spray it out every once in a while, make sure it doesn't have any dirt or grime in it. Okay, I've now opened the curtain. Now you can do this from the front back, or at the rear of the trailer we actually have a quick release. The quick release will allow you to actually undo the rear if you have load at the rear that you want to take off. Just a cam over with an aluminum quick release that fits on the blade. Now that that's undone, I can pull the whole curtain this way. Same concept. Again, the track at the top, the buckle assemblies, the horizontal tensioning and the vertical tensioning, that's the little bit of difference between a van and a curtain side. As you can see, once we do this, it opens up the side for loading and unloading. You can do either side. The opposite side works exactly the same way. It allows you to come load and unload from the side, or in fact, if you can see from the tread plates that we're putting in, you can actually load and unload from the rear. The rear end is very similar to a van. We use quad hardware because as you look at the design of a curtain side, you have a rear case assembly, a front, and a roof, and in between we have, to keep the roofs supported, we have side posts that hold the roof up. They're about every 13 foot. Now, we'll get into these in just a second as to how they operate, but I guess showing here that we have a rear end, very similar to a hard side, that allows you access to load and unload from a dock. We put the dock bumpers on, just like you'd see on a van trailer, if in fact that's the way you want to load or unload. Okay, while we've got the curtain open here, earlier I mentioned that we weld webbing to the inside of the curtain. As you can see with this one, that white PVC coated webbing, we actually weld in our curtain shop to the actual fabric itself. On a curtain, we don't use any sewing machines that cause perforation lines. Everything is dielectrically welded. The weakest link on this vertical is actually the roller webbing at the top. These are rated at about 2,200 pounds per strap. Water level load, you're talking about right at 50,000 pounds. Load retaining capability. Not load bearing, but load retaining. The loads on a curtain side trailer need to be strapped down exactly like you would on a flatbed trailer. The DOT do not acknowledge this as a load bearing wall, in that it can be undone and slid from end to end. So again, the welded webbing is there for a reason. It's to increase the strength of the curtain. 2,200 pounds top to bottom. All right, what Harry's going to do is show us how to work the rear quick release, and we're going to button the curtain back up. We're setting this on the end of the curtain is an actual aluminum J channel that fits on the blade itself. It's just a regular cam over, as you can see. We set that, and then we just pull tension to the front, as Harry's doing right now. We just set the J channel. There's an aluminum pole at the front, as I said earlier. At the very top is a spigot that it pokes, that actually sets it at the top. That's the aluminum pole that pulls tension horizontally. It sits down on top of the actual castle nut itself. And then back to the worm gear. Tensions the curtain horizontally.
You also need to say that they can tighten this as tight as they want by hand. Never put a cheater pipe. You can tighten this just as mean as you want by hand. Never put a pipe in there, and that's plenty tight.
Yeah, as you can see, we've got a good horizontal tension on it. Now, as we go back to set the buckle assembly, we just underneath this, on this particular unit, you have a side channel. We've got a rave hook on the bottom of the strap. It just fits over and grabs the side channel. And then you actually just take the buckle by your hand here, pump it a couple times, and cam it over. As you can see, now we have both a very good horizontal tension, and we're developing a good vertical tension to the curtain.
For some of those drivers, I saw them, they were ratcheting it down and they were just doing all this, and you don't have to do that. You just want it tight enough, got some tension. Not too much, not too little. But we saw some drivers that were actually, I mean, they were leaning on it. They were ratcheting it. Just about that right there is plenty. You don't want to have to, you don't want them to tighten it so tight that they're over here just pulling down like, you don't want that. You just want it tight enough that it snaps. That's all you need.
The loop is put on there, as you can see, the loop is put on there originally from the curtain shop, because so you can use it to flip open the buckle, but it also is sewn to where it catches right here and won't allow it, if in fact the buckle happens to come open during the use of the trailer down the road, that this assembly won't come out of the buckle and fly on the highway. This is just, it's got the safety catch on it right here. On most flatbed trailers, you're going to look at probably from the top of the floor to the bottom of the track. At the top, you're probably looking at about 100.5 inches floor to bottom of track, and then from the floor to the bottom of the roof post, you're probably right at 103 inches on a normal flatbed.
All right, this is what we call a side action sliding post. You simply grab it with your right hand, unlock it with the collar, pull up sideways and let it fall to the ground. Keep a hold of it, grab both sides, pull it apart, just like a scissor. Pick it up, comes out of the hole. You can let it hang. You grab it and just push it side. It'll slide as far as you want to slide. You come back, slide it right back where you want it. We actually put a red mark in the roof, which will align, which will make it pretty much vertical when you put it back in. So you want to put the top right about where that red mark is, right there. Come back down here, open it up, put the peg in the hole. There's a peg, and put it in the hole. Scissor it back shut. Bring your lock back up and lock it.